you shouldn't expect people to work more than you pay them if you're not going to provide them with either passion, strong leadership, an honest pathway to delivery, and an honest pathway of career progression for them for what they want to do, and how they are motivated might be very different than you as a leader are capable of providing, and that is known as culture. And if you have a culture, great, but it seems here like the culture is either non-existent or even worse, toxic. Cool. So that was the first one. Let's have a look at the second one. Starting a food takeaway business, about 82% profit margin on main meals. However, it drops to 60% including VAT, and as low as 30% including Uber and Just Eat's commission if I use them. Is this about average? For example, a goat curry including rice and peas and coleslaw, I plan to charge $13.99. It cost me £2.50. Okay, so what's interesting here is how businesses, and not just this business, but majority of business, see tax and overheads as part of their business. So I've been told on multiple occasions that people have had unexpected tax bills. The government sets out every year, usually every decade, what money they want from you, when and how. And they'll even give you a percentage that says this. What's interesting here is he's not including, or this person, sorry, is not including any of the things that one would include as part of their running costs. And so they're saying that it's an 82% profit margin. And what they're basically saying is if they're selling it for £14 and they're making it for £2.50, then their profit, in inverted commas, is around 80%. But they're including VAT. So the idea that they came up with was useless from the start, because VAT, for those of you who don't know, on goods you have to pay 20%. If you are a business over, I think it's £85,000 at the moment, you have to register for VAT. Sometimes it's useful to register for VAT before then, and it adds 20% onto, from a customer's point of view, and from a individual customer point of view. So, for example, that gets paid by the person buying the goat curry, and it automatically gets added on, and that's it. So in the US, you would get, it would be $11.99 and then $2 of tax. In the UK, it has to be put on altogether. Now, if you're a business, you can take off VAT, and that's a different conversation. So because this person always has to pay VAT, then the profit margin, from my perspective and working out how we run the business, it was never 82%. So it's now 60% including VAT, and as low as 30% including Uber and Just Eat. So what they're not doing as well is they're not including delivery. So what's interesting here is when they've set up the business, it feels to me like they've not included all of their costs and overheads. And if somebody came to me as a business and said, hey, for every pound you make, you're going to get 82 pence, I'd go, that sounds like an amazingly brilliant idea, and I'm going to do that because that sounds, that's fantastic. But that was never true, and it was never the case. And if you're looking at business viability, how useful my business is, 30% might not be enough. And so you've started a business where you expected there to be 82 pence in the pound for you to do what you need to do, and now there's only 30 pence in the pound. So that's potentially a 52p loss on every pound you make from what you initially thought. And part of this is a huge problem in the UK is the complete lack of business education in schools that relates to this kind of thing. You can take business studies and you can take business. I've known people who have been very well educated, but because they were always going into a job, they've never learnt about corporation tax. That's not included here. They don't know about insurances and overheads and VAT and how to pay yourself, and then national insurance.